feeling about this.
And I had a bad feeling about Star Wars Celebration this year, but that bad feeling turned into a good feeling because Star Wars Celebration Europe was on fire this year. I was super excited about all the most of the reveals, and it seems like we got some movies in the future. So we're going to talk all about that tonight. We're going to wrap up Star Wars Celebration, but I can't do it alone. So with me, as always, are my two co-hosts with the most. That sounds right. Ray Snedeker and Austin Gordy.
What's up?
Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
I agree with you. I was actually not. I wasn't as excited for Celebration as I wanted to be, but yeah, man, when it got started and I tuned into the live stream, they kicked it in high gear. I fell pretty quick.
And it was weird because the time difference and me trying to figure out when it's going to start streaming, and it's like start streaming at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I had to make sure that I was up, setting the alarm clock on Friday, trying to get up. And the weird thing is the studio panel, which had all the big news and the stuff they hide from you, happened before they started streaming, which was,
which there was some of that stuff, like some of the Q&As they didn't show except to the audience there. So we didn't get to see any of that. They just talked about it afterwards. But yeah, I heard about that and I was like, man, I wish I could have. I mean, obviously from our experience, it's very hard to get into those rooms, but man, just to have been in there, it would have been great.
Yeah. I remember. Okay. So when we went to Orlando, did you try to get into any panels?
No, because every panel we wanted to go into, it was just like the lead-off panel, like you would go into another place, or it would just be maybe if there's any room left or if there's standing room only, because most of the time people were already waiting the day before. Yeah. So it was just like there was just no use in even trying.
Now, a lot of the little panels like the collector track and all that kind of stuff, that's easier to get into. Right. I mean, yeah, there's a line, but it's not like a line wrapped around a building. It's like you got 20, 30 people in line ahead of you. In the room
we got to we did the Ray. Let me see. I think I did the Ray Park panel and maybe the Warwick panel. And those were, they were long lines, but you can get into the thing, but that was all.
I didn't even do anything with like a celebrity. I did I think I did the Funko panel, and then I did, there was a Star Tots panel and something else. I can't remember. I mean, there's just so much to do and see.
And a lot, just very little time too. And very little space. It just felt like there were so many people wanting to do exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Sometimes I just felt hopeless.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down, get into it. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is the big reveals that we're getting 3 brand new Star Wars movies. Now, Kathleen Kennedy didn't break down like which one we're getting first. We can kind of guess at which one we're getting first, right? But are you excited about these 3 movies? And they are a new a sequel movie, I guess is you want to call it, with Daisy Ridley.
No, that was the first first news. I remember that was pretty big. After seeing the Ahsoka trailer, was hearing that Daisy Ridley is not even just rumor stuff. Like, she came out on stage and they announced that there's going to be and they seem like they kind of made it clear that this is just going to be another Star Wars story that she's in, but it's not like it's going to I don't think they're going to call it episode 10.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're going to do that, but I did also read another thing about Kathleen Kennedy saying with the films they're going to make sure they do the crawls
to differentiate them from I think the TV shows. I think is what they wanted to say, or something like that.
So, but I mean, if you got to think though, if this first movie is a success, there's going to be another one and another one.
Oh yeah. But I think what I mean is, instead of it being tied to that, those 9 movies, it's the start of its own thing. Then, so you could call it like the
New Jedi Order.
Yeah, or
Like if
trying
she'll
to think
even
of
be.
some little. I was
Well,
trying to
that's
think
what
of
I
some
think
little.
they're calling it. They're calling that they released a timeline. Like if you look at the official timeline, I think it's called the New Jedi Order.
Yeah,
because it's about her setting that up.
yeah, because I believe they said it's 15 years after the end of Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Yeah,
So
Now, do you think any of the other people will come back?
I would like for them to and get proper storylines and things like that if possible. But it also depends on who's the focus of this new set of movies because I'm sure they're focused on multiple instead of just the one. But I mean, I would love to see Finn and Poe come back, especially Finn. I just feel like Finn really, especially between him and Ray, they should have had a more cohesive story, or they should have tied them up a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely think Poe will at least make a cameo.
Yeah, I could definitely see him being a cameo.
But
If not, like he'll probably by that time, if it's 15 years in the future, he's a commander. He's probably on a big ship. Got him a pot belly.
John Boyega, though, there was a lot of animosity towards Star Wars when the Rise of Skywalker was over for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's like willing to come back to Star Wars.
But I think he said he was more willing. I mean, like he would do a movie. He just wasn't. He definitely would not do a TV show. Like he wouldn't do Kenobi. He would do. So I mean, since this would be a movie or a set of movies, I could see them talking him back into it if they were to entice him with a good story. That would be the only way I bet they would bring him back. Is if you see him announce this coming back, it will be because they probably got him a good role, like a good way back in.
Well, I mean, they always tease throughout the sequels that he may be force sensitive,
right?
So I mean, it would only make sense that he comes back and is part of the new Jedi Order. But who knows? I
mean, and that makes sense, like, because that could help awaken those parts of him, like the Force and help him to hone that. I would be for it.
Well, that's why it was called the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I think I mean when he had the blood stained hand hit his helmet, I think something triggered, right? Not just because of that, but at that moment something triggered, to awaken something. Yeah. Maybe in him, maybe something throughout the galaxy. Who knows? Maybe that was the event. Who knows?
Yeah, but no, I'm definitely excited to see where we go past Rise of Skywalker and what they have in store for the Jedi Order. I did hear that people weren't happy, or a lot of fans were like, "What?" Because, and I get it, because we always thought of Luke bringing in that new era of Jedi. Now it's looking like they're going to shift it to Rey being the savior, the one that leads the new generation of Jedi.
Yeah, I think that kind of transitioning into the next movie, which is going to be a Dave Filoni movie, actually, which is about time, right? That kind of Infinity War kind of movie that has the Mandalorian, Ahsoka, probably the Skeleton Crew, all these things kind of wrapping, coming in together. And especially from what we saw in the last episode of The Mandalorian, some of those characters, I think they're gonna do. He's doing the job of the extended universe, the way the extended universe kind of built out the prequels, right? He's doing that, building out the sequels with his little niche of shows. I mean, it looks like to me, because they're already starting to bring this in, trying to build up what we think is the Emperor coming back, or the cloning process, whatever. And with what we saw at the end of this last episode of The Mandalorian, it's like, wow, that was really cool. So I think that's what the goal here is to kind of build out the sequel trilogy, fill out some of those gaps that were pretty big, in my opinion. I mean, we've all know my opinion on especially the last two movies, but.
Well, there was really that's the big point of all of them, is there really was no cohesion. So I feel like we're going to start to see the universe now fill out, and everything's going to start to make more sense, and they'll try to weave it all together and retcon a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. So I'm all for it, especially because Kathleen Kennedy confirmed it. I mean, she was basically saying that what they're doing right now in the shows is building up to the movie. So And you know it's all building up to a big Thrawn showdown because that's like he's getting thrown around a lot now. That name is officially in the ring.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
And you know, you wonder like what kind of role did he have in bringing back the Emperor? You know, because you know that's
If he has a role in it.
I bet you he does.
But I
Bet you
mean
he
it in
does.
I mean it in a way as thinking about what we learned in the last episode also, because certain people that were working on bringing the Emperor back definitely did not want Thrawn around.
That's true. That's true. But you know, just from reading through the Thrawn books,
Mhm.
it seems like, and I didn't read them all, right? I read like the first two. It seems like he was very loyal to the Emperor, right? Almost more so than some of the others.
I just
it would seem so. It would
would
seem
seem
that he's
so.
loyal,
I
but he's
always assumed above all of it, this tendency.
I was going to say everything is.
He in terms of maybe he looked up to the Emperor in terms of like being able to take over and everything, but I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he would put him above his own people, because I mean I think wasn't it revealed that he was sent as a spy?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
He was-
thanks for spoiling it. Jeez.
Like the whole thing about them finding him was like that was planned ahead. He was supposed to be found.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he's working with Anakin. That's where he first came into our galaxy, right? No.
I mean
something sort of like that. He did
Yeah.
participate in like an early mission
Yeah.
With
with
Anakin.
Anakin.
Okay. Yeah.
the Ascendancy.
It's been a while since I read those books, so sorry.
Well, I'm the same way. I'm probably going to go reread them because I haven't finished the Ascendancy trilogy either. The prequel, kind of like the early trilogy that they did of him. So we got to go back and reread those.
So I mean, that's going to be cool. This movie to me, I think Dave Filoni is going to do a great job. Right? He's the second coming to George Lucas, and everything
Starting to look like him too.
yeah, yeah.
And like George Lucas with like Garth Brooks. I was calling him Garth Lucas the whole celebration. Like, look at him.
And you know, he and Favreau came out on the celebration stage, celebration live stage, and he kind of got teared up there for a moment, just thanking all the fans, which I thought was, pretty cool. That he it shows that he has a real passion for Star Wars, maybe more so than some of the other people. But even the Leslie, God, I can't remember her last name. This showrunner or directing the Acolyte.
It's I don't know why I can't
Yeah, we should
remember her
have this
name.
up. We should have this
Right.
up. Yeah, you're a professional, Austin
Leslie Headland.
Headland. Yeah, she when they interviewed her, I mean, she teared up too, talking about how passionate she was for.
Well, she
Star
says
Wars.
Star Wars saved her life. So I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like they're getting a new guard of people that I mean, I don't know. It's looking promising. I'm enjoying the directors that they've been using for the Mandalorian. I'm enjoying the writing.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I commend them, especially Bryce Dallas Howard has been knocking it out of the park. She's been killing it.
I was
Yeah.
a little bit disappointed to see that she wasn't on the list of directors for Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the list. Who's on the list?
A lot of the usuals. I think Rick Femi. Oh God, how do you
Fumiyima or whatever.
Fumiyima?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He's directing some. I know
Filoni.
Jeff. Yeah, not Jeff, but Dave is
Mhm.
directing a few.
Interesting. Well, okay. Aside from that, the other big movie was James Mangold coming out announcing that he's doing this is one I'm not so sure about. Kind of telling the history of the first Jedi.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day. I can't remember if it was Dark Horse or Marvel. They tried to go back and tell this story, right? And if they're redoing it now, I'm sure it was back in the EU. So it's probably Dark Horse days, and I didn't feel it. I didn't care for it. I didn't read, but like the first couple issues, I think it was a mini series, but I didn't read it all. It just didn't sit well with me. So this is going to be one of those that I'm interested in seeing, but I don't have high hopes for.
Like, you don't think it'll get made, or you don't think it'll be good?
No. I think every movie that was announced, unlike past celebrations,
Mhm.
it will be made. Just because they have directors announced, they're not going to bring Daisy Ridley out on stage with the director and not make that movie happen.
Yeah.
Right? There's too much hype. Dave Filoni already has this history built up on Disney Plus. That's going to happen. There might be some James Mangold kind of issue there. If Indy flops,
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe not. But if Indiana Jones, does just
Gangbusters.
or not even that, if it just breaks even, I think he's still going to be in on this Star Wars stuff. I just, it's got to be done right, and it's got to, you can't have all the fancy schmancy droids and technology. How does that look?
Yeah.
Because I go back and I look at the Knights of the Old Republic, which is what 1,000 years before the prequels.
Knights of the
game.
Republic?
Yeah,
No,
game.
that was 4,000 years.
4,000. Okay,
Yeah,
and
they jumped back. They
so
they
it was
backflipped backwards too.
it was 4,000 years, but it looked like maybe 100 years ago. As
Yeah.
far as technology looks.
Yeah, that's something I wasn't like. I still love the KOTOR stuff, but it did put. I think that I almost feel like they made a little bit of a mistake setting it so far back, because it does kind of put this perspective of the whole Star Wars universe is just, it's stagnant. All that you keep,
Exactly.
all that anyone keeps track of is who's in charge of the galaxy, who's at war with who.
Yep.
And that's about it. We don't
mean,
we don't see much in terms of improvements and stuff.
Yep. I mean,
But it feels like they might be taking that into consideration now, because I mean, look at the High Republic. The High Republic does feel like it's older in certain, in a lot of ways, because especially with all the lore with the hyperspace lanes being added into it, as something that's not, it feels like it's recently enough, because the Santecas, they basically were they charted the hyperspace lanes.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting if maybe it takes place. Maybe it might take place at like the dawn of hyperspace. Like, of I don't know.
I would think it'll have to go back even further, because I mean, you're talking
Mhm.
about an ability that is natural, that I would think has been around forever.
Well, they have I think they have hinted recently that that there's a connection between the Force and the hyperspace, I believe. Haven't they?
Really?
Like the Purgle, basically.
Is this in a book or a novel or something?
No, I mean, just like the implications of it, that you have a creature that naturally can travel through hyperspace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, like, maybe there was some tidbit in the High Republic or something that made something like how Jedi have some kind of connection with with hyperspace somehow, like they can feel it or something.
That's interesting.
It would be interesting though, like in terms of new lore, like maybe they might, maybe there was a latent Force ability in one of the Santecas, so they could. I haven't gotten far enough ahead to see much about the family.
Me either. I'm just thinking that maybe it's, if you're really telling this history, it needs to be something like far before lightsabers were ever a thing, right? Because that technology probably shouldn't exist at the same time that somebody's figured out they have this ability to do things, right? Magic.
Yeah. But also, if you think about just in normal storytelling terms and for a film, like, I don't expect it's going to play out like it's some kind of history lesson where we get to watch greatest hits of all this cool stuff that happens. They're going to want to make a story about something that people can relate to on some level or empathize with in some level. So I bet it might end up still being just some simple story of I'm not sure who the main character is going to be yet, other than what they said. So maybe the first Jedi is a male or female, but probably maybe might have something, maybe like an allegory for maybe their parent, or maybe they're a widow, or maybe make it something simple where it's just about them overcoming this personal thing, and then the Force stuff, you know, is just part of their character journey. And it's not a, you know, it's not a typically long journey. You know, they'll have their first conflict, then they'll have their, you know, learning their lesson, and then their big finale.
So you're saying that maybe the Force has always been there, but it's at a certain point, somebody sits down and says,
Taps into it.
This is the way we should live our lives. This is what
Well-
we should do. Let's come up with this set of laws here. You know, you shall all wear brown robes.
Yeah.
You
What
shall-
we did see in The Last Jedi, Octo is the first place.
Yeah.
You know that. So that's one thing I imagine would happen is we're going to see that person there, whoever they are.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm just saying, like, I'll just think, because I keep thinking, you know, I see people make these comments about their speculations, and they'll go on these ridiculously unfilmable ideas for stories. Like, it's going to be about the first, you know, it's going to be about the first group of Jedi who go to the planet Octo, and they make up their set of Jedi laws. And it's like, no, it's not going to be that complicated. They're going to make it or not that clinical sounding. You know, there's gonna be a story in there. You know.
Yeah, I guess.
Think about the regular trilogy itself. You know, the first one is, you know, the basic hero's journey. Empire Strikes Back is Luke figuring, you know, just understanding what it means to be a hero. It's not, you know, wasn't about learning. You know, the Force was only his character journey. It wasn't anything. You know, just this and this and this happens. All of it plays into something.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
See, I also love though how the second one was just like just a movie of setbacks. There was hardly anything good happening. Everything was just a punch in the gut the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing if you really go back and watch Empire Strikes Back, it's people's favorite one of the bunch. If you really watch it, it's like a gut punch the whole movie. Everybody's just the rebellion's just getting you know, and then your heroes are getting pelted and getting beaten, and you feel like Luke was learning something, and then he's not learning. He's hard headed, and then he fails in the end. Yeah, but I don't know.
He's not the hero he thought he was. You know,
yeah, and that's why I always felt like Empire Strikes Back was all the setbacks, all the like gut punches, and then Return of the Jedi to me always felt like a great heroic comeback, especially with Luke. I always loved how he just came by the time you sit down with that movie and you see Luke, he's got this new confidence about him. You just believe. You're like, whatever he touched on in between movies, he's here. We've made it. He's a Jedi. You know, and then from then on out, I never really worried about him that much. It was more about sealing that fate now that he's learned his mistakes from the last movie. So
do you think that's where the Rise of Skywalker failed then? Because everything's kind of circular. Empire Strikes Back Last Jedi sort of played out like the Empire Strikes Back. Is everybody taking gut punches, like you said? They are. But by the beginning of Return of the Jedi, we see Luke Skywalker, who is a Jedi. So he thinks, anyway, confident, taking care of business. Beginning of Rise of Skywalker, we're still seeing Rey train and fail, can't concentrate, can't keep it together, not sure of herself, you know, and only until the very end she's confident.
Right. Well, my thing is too, I feel like even if you take what's already there and just enhance some of the sequences, it would have been a far better movie. It just felt like everything was so rushed and set up. It was like you never actually fleshed out anything. It was just these concepts that were just thrown at the wall to see what would stick, and we just kept going. We never really focused on anything because there's a lot of great ideas in there. But that's why I'm thinking now that we've got the other TV shows and movies, we're going to start to really flesh out a lot of that stuff, that some of these concepts that they try to throw and see if it would stick. I mean, Snoke and the First Order and all that stuff being main ones. I mean, and Exegol. I want to know more about Exegol.
Oh, me too.
So it's just
maybe they
kind of touch on that Mandalorian, but
maybe that plays a part in this James Mangold film too. You know,
I bet it'll play a part in the Acolyte.
And that's another show I cannot
Good.
wait for.
Mhm.
That was one that at first I wasn't quite as hyped for, but when they started talking about it at Celebration, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this show for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So segueing off of the movies talk, let's start talking about the TV stuff or the streaming stuff, and we're going to start with the Ahsoka trailer. So we'll just kind of run through it right quick.
Okay.
I've got it playing right here, and I'll pause. Oh, but let me turn sound.
Let me get into my classical overreacting reaction.
Okay, make sure you're reacting properly. All right, so I'm just gonna play it, and
oh my god! Oh my god! It's pillars.
yeah, it's pillars. Okay, nothing really special here. She's done the kind of a classic there Ahsoka trick. I think she's done that before. And looking up, oh, the red. It's red. Okay, so that's a pretty cool shot right there.
This is what I'm loving. Like all these shots with and I don't know if you see it in the trailer, but she did it at Celebration during one of their panels. But she's even got the Sabine look, like that side eye that Sabine does in the cartoon.
Yeah,
she has
does.
it.
Yeah, she does it a little bit, I think, to Ahsoka when she appears.
Yeah, it's
she's different though. I mean, she's got long hair here, where she had short hair in Rebels.
It's to represent the time has passed.
Time has passed. Yes.
Also, she could have worn glasses to show that time had passed.
Oh, cool!
Oh, and a loft cap.
Yep. And of course, here she is, and then
it's such perfect
HK.
casting.
Are those HKs or something?
I don't know, but then
the Phantom 2.
Yep, and you know who that is?
Hair. Oh well, before you go, I speculated with my wife about this because sometimes movies will edit stuff out of trailers that they don't want people to see.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wondering because of the setup of that shot and the look of it. I almost wonder if there's someone in the left seat that's been edited out of the shot. Have y'all ever?
Could be. I mean,
I'm wondering, like, if it's. I mean, think about some of the other big shows they've had. One of the things that they like to keep secret is the inclusion of a kid character. So, like, Mandalorian, we didn't know until the first episode that Grogu was involved.
But I forgot she has a kid.
Yeah, in Obi-Wan, we didn't know that Leia was involved until the first episode. I'm wondering if right now they're intentionally keeping Jason obscured, so because we haven't seen anything about him since the Rebels epilogue. No mention of him.
That's
other. Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe he's in that shot, like co-piloting with her as a kid.
I never even thought about that, but yeah, you're right. So
we're gonna wait and see how that turns out in August.
Okay, so there was a quick Ray Stevenson picture here, and then I don't know this character's name. I know that it was revealed.
Shin.
Hattie, I think.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh God, I had it.
Yeah, Shin Hati. Yeah, Shin Hati. Her real name is Ivana Sakno, a Ukrainian and American actress.
Okay.
She was in Pacific Rim Uprising, but
that's what
so
yeah, I'm loving her look in this though.
So with the blonde hair,
and the braid. I see she's got looks like maybe a Padawan braid or something.
I do like and I do love the new dark lightsaber color.
Where the orange is like
orange.
It's like blood orange is what I call it. The blood orange blades.
So this is a cool shot right here because I knew exactly when I saw this. That's Star Wars Rebels, right? That might have been. Is that
that's Harris? I mean, that's Ezra's tower. That's the one he would always be looking from.
Yeah,
I think he lived in it some too. Didn't he also live in it before he?
Yeah, before he joined the group. Yeah. So you got X-wings, flying in with. I guess that's Ahsoka's ship.
Yeah, that's hers because there it is in that shot. See, there's that little look from her.
I saw. Yeah, I saw it
that little
for a second there, and then we got Star Cruisers and of course Mon Mothma here.
Yeah, and actually, I think the guy to her right, I believe that is, what's the main character's name from Resistance? Kaz. Kaz. That is his father.
It was Kaz. I know it was Kazuda or something like that. His last name.
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, that character is his father. I read about that.
Sweet.
So that's a little connection to that show.
They're really trying to tie, and this is what's that species? A Gran?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So, and Monmouth looking worried. And then, of course, the money shot right here. And this
Yes.
trailer doesn't show it, but the one they showed at Celebration does show his face.
Mhm.
But they're saving that for something else. And then there's Ahsoka. And then there's that evil lady.
Yeah.
The magistrate.
Okay.
Now, this is an
They've
interesting
given her a
place.
name now. It's Morgan Elsbeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she's finally going to have a name besides just the magistrate.
And I do like Ray Stevenson in this role.
He looks awesome.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the way he uses, like, even some of the forms he uses with the lightsaber, especially when he's walking down that hall in just a minute, I'm like, it looks familiar. Like somebody else has done this before.
He reminds me of Qui-Gon.
Well, I like but I also like just the design look for him.
Yeah.
I like it feels kind of like it takes inspiration from Legends a little bit because you got this, wearing black and armor. Because you can see like he's got pauldrons. I think he's got a pauldron on his shoulders, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it back some. Oh, not too much. I was going to see if I could get it back just to see him.
Yeah. I love the look. I like it. Kind of also reminds me a little bit of the villains from the Dark Forces games, the Sith villains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Jarek.
Yeah.
And all those Dark Jedi. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at the way where the blade comes out, or where the lightsaber comes out at. That's kind of wide, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked to me from the way I can look at it, it kind of reminds me of the classic, kind of like if you look at the old Ralph McQuarrie Darth Vader art, like how the lightsabers look. It's almost like coming out of an ice cream cone.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So, but they're always taking, cues from Ralph McQuarrie, it seems.
This right here, these where they lock up, that is just
See right here, look at like that. Yeah. And there is little Ezra Bridger.
And another thing, I don't know if y'all caught it. Did y'all notice the background in the area where Ahsoka was dueling with?
No, okay. All right, let me go back. How far back was it?
I mean, any of the shots where you see them.
Right here. Oh yeah, this is the
yeah.
What's it called? The space between the
world between worlds. I don't know if it's world between worlds or if it's a portal to there, because it looks like they're also in a construction type site, kind of like where they found the last portal. I wonder if maybe this is them finding another one. And
it could be. Yeah.
So they're not exactly in it yet, but it looks like it's very hinting at it.
And didn't Filoni say that maybe these two people, then Ray Stevenson and the other girl, may not be what they seem?
Maybe
like in the trailer. I think he was quoted as saying something like that.
Oh yeah, like I know it's supposed to be. I bet it's going to be where we don't know if they're bad or good.
Yeah,
what their true intentions are and what they're looking for. But
I almost want to say that I feel like it's going to be setting up for something that we're not going to expect, because I notice people seeing the idea, which is all that we can think so far, is that it's just Imperial Remnant versus New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm almost feeling like Filoni's going to pull out the rug a little bit, and there's going to be some other threat that is going to have to be dealt with.
Yeah,
it's like I think about the threat, that Thrawn was concerned about, which I think in the books they were called the Grisk, but they could make something else out, because in Legends they were worried about the Yuuzhan Vong, I think, weren't they, Austin?
Yeah.
Ascendancy. Yeah.
And then I will say this: if you look online, it does say, pause right there. It says with him, he's Baylan Skoll, and it says he's a former Jedi who survived Order 66 by fleeing into the unknown regions, who is a master to Shin and ally to Thrawn.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I wonder,
ally to Thrawn.
Yeah. So, and I'm telling you this, watching and learning what I'm learning. I know it's not going to be exactly like the storyline, but spiritually, it feels like they're kind of taking a lot of beats from Heir to the Empire, where you kind of have you got Thrawn, you have all of that going on, but then you have this sort of Joruus C'baoth character,
mm-hmm.
and also maybe like a Mara Jade type,
Could be. Yeah.
character and all that. There's just all these remnants that make me, at least just gives me the feeling of Heir to the Empire, and I'm just loving it.
Yeah.
This is so
I mean, she even says, well, she calls Thrawn what we think she's calling Thrawn the heir to the
The
Empire.
Heir to the Empire, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or
which
at
he
least the
is.
way they cut it, it seemed like that. And of course, there's Ezra with Sabine, and then who is that? Is that
It's like
like a?
she's fighting another Inquisitor, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's what
like
I was
some
looking.
leftover
Yeah.
Inquisitor.
That's what I was.
That's definitely, I think, an Inquisitor.
And it looks like, look, you got all this construction workers like, oh, let's check this out.
I mean, it would be interesting because we haven't seen any. There hasn't really been any story of any Inquisitor post Vader and the Emperor's death. So what happened to a, what happened to a
Yeah.
Oh God, an Inquisitor without their leader, their guiding hands.
This is the guy that was voiced by Doctor
David.
Who.
David Tennant.
Oh,
And-
really? Nice.
And if I remember correctly, he was the guy who taught the younglings about lightsabers.
Apparently, he won an award for that performance too. I
Yeah.
think.
Isn't that right? I mean, he talked to him about how the crystal works in the lightsaber or something.
Yeah, a lightsaber crafting droid that was used
Yeah.
by the Jedi during the Clone
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I mean, and then his quote here is maybe it's time to start again or something.
Mhm.
But we know that's not going to happen because, well, maybe it does happen. Just they all get slaughtered by Kylo Ren. Thanks.
Setbacks, man.
Mhm.
It's greater than the setbacks are always, the comebacks are always bigger than the setbacks. Okay, something like that.
So we don't get this until August. So now we have to wait a few more months to get our hands on Ahsoka, which is sad because I'm super excited about Ahsoka. I can't wait for that one.
It says we're also supposed to get Hayden Christensen
Oh yeah.
back
Yeah.
as Anakin, as
Well-
Anakin / Vader, I guess.
Well, I'm thinking we might. I'm hoping we get some Force Ghost scenes because I would like closure, like her and him discussing, what he did,
Just
Or-
I guess if she can,
or
if she
like
can
or
communicate-
her. Yeah, I mean, if her coming to terms with it, I guess.
Or-
I like the idea of it.
or if she goes into the world between worlds, maybe Anakin is there.
And maybe she pulls him out briefly to speak to him before he has to
Something.
go back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, did you hear, Ray, about the other bit of casting for Ahsoka that they had? Like they cast Thrawn. It's supposed to be his right hand guy. They're thinking it's probably the character from the books. Oh gosh,
Captain.
some of the
Eli Vanto. Eli Van- Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So they're thinking they've cast him, and it's this guy from The Expanse.
West
West-
Shadow.
Chatham.
Wait, no way. That's who he's
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, that's what
No.
they're suspecting is that he's supposed to be
Oh,
a right hand
sorry,
man
I'm
to
like-
Grand
I'm-
Admiral Thrawn.
I'm sorry, I'm like freaking out a little bit, but that is. I saw that I was excited when I saw that he was cast because I love Wes Chatham. He's one of the highlights of The Expanse if you ever watch it.
Yeah, I was going to say he's Amos Burton on The Expanse.
Amos. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
basically like a friendly sociopath with a heart of gold.
Yeah. I was
I mean-
wondering if we were going to get Palin, Captain
Well,
Palin in there,
we
but
right,
we got him a
man,
little somewhere
yeah.
else.
man.
Yeah.
Yes. How did y'all feel? I mean, I know this is jumping off subject, but I feel
Yeah.
like we do need to address it. That opening, because that opening sequence to the latest episode of The Mandalorian ties into what we're talking about. I mean, how did y'all feel about the Shadow Council being revealed?
It was interesting.
So they have a name?
Yeah,
That's what they
call
called
them
it. It was like the Shadow, like
Council.
I must have missed that moment where they
Oh,
called
yeah.
them the Shadow Cancel.
It's
Ah.
interesting because they're kind of turning against Palin, right?
But it just shows. I like that it shows that the Empire. That's
They're
exactly why they failed. They're just now that there's nobody to really lead them. There's all these different agendas that are
all- and
going.
the pettiness too, and it's
Yeah.
all they're all willing to just like crap on the ashes just to so
And you
that they
see-
can be on top. They just want to be on the ones on top. They don't care.
And you can see that Captain
It
Playan
makes
is actually trying to be honorable. And he's like, "Look, guys, hold to. We've got a plan in place. Like we're supposed to wait for the comeback of Thrawn. He's supposed to be saving us. But oh my God, the casting for him, it was perfect. It was when I saw him, I thought there was something off. I'm like, I'm supposed to know this guy. He seems familiar.
Yeah.
And Jesus, we've already gotten a Wilf.
Captain.
Oh Lord, what's his name? Wilf.
Yep.
Not Lauren.
Well, yeah.
Is that
you're right? Say it again.
Because it's not. Because it's similar to Tarkin. Is it Yularen?
Yularen, yeah.
Yularen was the guy that always wore white. I think he died on the Death Star, though.
I can't remember where he died.
No, actually, well, yeah. Wait, you might be right.
He was in. I remember him in the Clone Wars.
Because I like
the
idea.
Ones.
Yeah. I was kind of like I was thinking at one point because I remember reading about him in. It was he appeared also in Rebels too, didn't he?
Well, he was in Clone Wars, but he was in Rebels too.
Yeah, he appeared in Rebels and he appeared in I think the Thrawn books. I remember liking his character in those, and then I thought, man, I like this guy. I remember him in the movies. What happened to him? I had to look him up. It's like, oh yeah, he was on the first Death Star.
Yeah.
It's like Wolf
Yularen.
Wolf Yularen.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, it's not him. But yeah, when they said Captain Pelayan, I'm like, oh God, yes. There was something else I felt like there was another reveal in that same instance that really got me. But no, I mean, I could not believe that we're already throwing those cards down. They are really gearing up for the Thrawn story.
Yeah, it seems that way, but also, they're gearing up for the Mandalorian story too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff at play here.
Yeah. Wait, did we? They did mention Hux. They called him Commandant Hux.
That was the other.
I think that's
his father. Yeah, that was his father. Yeah, because I was thinking, I was trying to think.
That's he's played by who plays Hux in the movies?
Yeah, I know.
No, Donald Gleeson. So this is Brendol Hux was played by his brother.
Nice.
And I'm forgetting his name now, but he's got a great comedy show on. He had a great comedy show that was on Amazon.
That's great. So there's a connection there. I was gonna say, because at first I was trying to make sure that the timeline was right, because I'm like, well, if you've read the Aftermath trilogy, you follow him, you know what happens to him. So I'm like, okay, so this is after that. So yeah, he's beaming in from wherever they went to after those books.
Wait, so he was one of those people in the circle?
Yeah.
Which one was he?
He was that kind of the younger looking one with the mustache that was. I think he was to the
looking
left.
To Pelion.
Yeah, they were the ones. He was the one that they asked him for the Praetorian Guards. He was the one that's saying like, well, you're wanting 3 Praetorian Guards, and all that.
So I missed that his name was Hux. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because Commandant Hux, I think is what they called him. Commandant. Yeah.
Because he has his son, he has little Hux with him, and they are the ones that took all those kids off to basically get ready for the First Order. That's where he was beaming in from. He's probably on Exegol or somewhere. If he's handing over Praetorian Guards, I mean, there's no telling where he was at. But what was his project? It was Project Necromancer or something like that they were part of, and they didn't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's pretty obvious what that one was about.
Yeah.
So Moff Gideon is about finding the body for Palpatine, right? I'm assuming with the cloning, although Gideon has ulterior motives, right?
Yeah.
But his whole purpose is to get the body ready. Maybe Hux is necromancer. What do you think that means? Like summoning the spirit of Palpatine back?
I just think it's just a name. Just like, there are a lot of dumb names when it comes to like special operations. Think about like the project.
But he's saying but so you don't think it's a significant name, necromancer, to
not in that way. I think it's just supposed to be obvious enough for you to understand what they're talking about, raising the dead, which is the basic thing of necromancy. Yeah. So I think that's what that obviously ties in with bringing him back, but it's probably so it can be broader, so that there's other options of how to. Maybe they'll explore other ways in which they're going to try to resurrect him that fail most likely, because he doesn't really come back until 35 years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
But it's like they're all going for the same goal, but they probably all have ulterior motives too, like Moff Gideon.
I don't even think Moff Gideon cares if the Emperor comes back. I think he likes having his own power.
Yeah,
I don't think
me too.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
think. I mean, you notice he was very quick to like keep them under. Anytime when they started to go towards something that seemed like it was going to go against what he wanted. He
Mhm.
was quick to try to railroad it.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, it
it's
seems
time
like
to-
he's all about his own awakening, because it really looks like he's really about trying to make himself better. Like,
Yeah.
just depending on whatever it is. I mean, it really is. It seems like he's really focused on sharpening himself as a weapon.
He
Yeah,
just keeps
could be.
upgrading every season.
That's true. Yeah, but if you go back and look in the first season, he did have the chest armor.
Yeah, what is the box on it? Because it seems like it's purposely supposed to evoke the idea
Of the
of
Mandalorian.
Vader. I was going to say
Oh.
Vader because it looks like he has like a electronic box piece on the armor. If you look at it,
Yeah, I don't know.
I assumed
Really?
it pumped like cocaine into him or something, because he would get wild. He needed to. He was. He's like, "Come and get some.
Give me that dark saber."
imagine him just like drawing Darksaber. Whoa, let's fire!
He's just Ric Flair.
Just-
Woo!
He takes out 3 stormtroopers before he can even make it to who he's actually trying to kill.
Okay, let's focus.
Steering back to celebration.
Steering back in. Yep, steering back to celebration. So another thing was the Acolyte. This is one of those that takes place right before the prequel trilogy, or so at a time period before the prequel trilogy,
Mhm.
but close, button up to it.
And it's supposed to be like a martial arts pulpy style of show, which totally sounds up my alley.
Yeah,
Kind of sounds similar to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka's kind of pulling off of the samurai manga kind of thing, going on. So I'm totally for it. If you get samurai shows and then kung fu shows, sign me up.
yep. And I'm assuming this show is about the Sith, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
So-
told from their perspective, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep. So this is the end of the High Republic towards the beginning of the what are they called in the prequels?
The oh god, what do they call it? Rise of the
Or this are the
oh gosh, I remember the name and now I don't remember.
Republic.
Unless you're talking about like the Galactic
It wasn't the
Civil
Old
War.
Republic. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was the Old Republic because that's the new era that they named.
Yeah.
Grand Republic. What
Well,
is their? I was going to say new Star Wars timeline, but how do you feel about?
So
I
there's
guess-
okay. So these are the ones. Starting from the beginning. These are the new eras. This is the
Mhm.
new official timeline of eras. We start with the Dawn of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Old Republic.
Mhm.
Then we have the High Republic. Then we have the Fall of the Jedi. So that's I guess that whole era from.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Reign of the Empire,
Mhm.
Age of Rebellion, the New Republic, Rise of the First Order, and the New Jedi Order.
Didn't seem like the First Order had a long period there.
And if you think about it, neither did
Empire.
the Age of Rebellion, because that rebellion, officially kind of was around.
Well, it sort of mixes in with the what's the Empire one called?
Reign of the Empire.
Reign of the Empire, because
Yeah.
Reign of the Empire starts at the end of Revenge of the Sith,
Mhm.
all the way to Return of the Jedi, and that's like
Mhm.
what 30 years, or no,
Yeah.
not 30, maybe 20 something years.
I assumed that Age of Rebellion was that time from
The
New
first
Hope.
Death Star blowing
from
up.
New
First
Hope
about.
to
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, because that
Yeah.
taking out the Death Star was the first real moment where, I mean, I think it's supposed to mean in big picture that was the first moment where everybody knew they weren't infallible.
Yeah. Okay.
They could be taken down. They could be beaten.
So, thoughts on the Acolyte? Everything that you heard. I mean, are you excited about it?
Yeah, great casting. I like
Mhm.
Amanda Stenberg, and also what's his name? He was the lead actor in Squid Game.
Mhm.
I believe he's supposed to be.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing him on the Celebration Live stage. Yeah.
yeah.
He was a super nice dude.
Yeah, Lee Jung Jae.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then there's who else was there? Oh yeah, the other big thing was Jonas Swatamo. Is that how we say his name? The guy who plays
think so,
Chewbacca
yeah.
now.
Chewbacca.
He's going to be a new Wookiee Jedi character in the Acolyte called Kel Naka.
Did you see him come on stage in his Jedi outfit?
I saw a picture of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't.
Well,
see
that's
a
what I'm
picture.
saying. Just a picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He looked pretty.
He needs to come back in like the new Jedi Order or whatever. He needs to come back during that time as
If he's
Lobaka
alive.
or somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was going to say the actor and then play Lobaka. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
try to retcon
Oh,
Lobaka.
yeah.
Remember that
Oh,
character?
Lord.
That'd be cool to bring him
Lowy,
back. Yeah.
with his
And
weird
have
little
the
head-
droid head hanging off of his belt.
MTD, I believe they called him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Those were great. Oh, those were
Yeah.
great.
And
But
the
no,
other-
I mean,
I was
ahead.
gonna say. Well, also they announced, Carrie Ann Moss was also going to be in the. What I think we already knew that beforehand, didn't we?
Yeah, I think
think
that
so,
was
but
announced.
they
But I don't
are-
think we knew that she was a Jedi, though, did we? Because she's a Jedi character.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think
But,
so. Yeah, and
yeah.
they said that she's gonna, like, in the footage they showed, you see her like fighting with a lightsaber or
Yeah.
training somebody. They said it was
Mhm.
really reminiscent of Trinity. You can
Yeah.
tell that's probably why she got hired. That was kind of what they were looking for.
And then the other big news was we will see a live action adaptation of a character from the High Republic books, which is Vernestra Rowe.
Which we saw her way younger too. That's what's
Mhm.
going to be cool is we saw her as a young
Yeah.
character. So
And she's
far,
a-
and
yeah,
they're all
and she-
growing up.
Yeah, and she's a non-humanoid, so I mean they could always just fudge the lore, if they need to. If it's a pretty new race, they say like, oh yeah, they can live a long time.
I don't
Yeah.
remember her.
For sure.
She's
what
she
book
was
was she in?
her first book in that first wave was more of the, I think it was the kid-oriented book, and she has like green skin.
It was, I think, Test of Courage. Let me see.
Yeah,
Okay, so I didn't
the
read
one by
any of the kid books.
Justina Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
This one.
the kid, but they were chapter books.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
cover.
that's
but
Vernestra.
that's her. Okay.
Because she's, I think, like her claim to fame is she's one of the youngest Jedi Knights because I think she got inducted at like age 14 or 15
Okay.
because she's supposed to be like really brilliant. I think I really haven't read much about her, but I thought that was interesting that they're bringing a High Republic. I guess to give it a little bit more credibility in its connection. A more cohesive connection to that era, other than just saying it.
What do you think they'll focus it all on, like, let's say Darth Plagueis or a young Palpatine or anything like that, or do you think it'll be before even those guys come into play?
I'd hope it doesn't focus on them any. That's just me though.
Yeah, I would like for it to go kind of maybe right before Plagueis. Maybe it leads into Plagueis or something like that.
Yeah,
You kind of get set up for when he starts to enact his stuff.
because I bet one big thing that'll be about it is because I think one big storyline or one big emotional arc of the movie or emotional concept of the show will be probably the Rule of Two, I believe, because you have this whole, that's how the Sith survived for so long, or they say that they survived for so long because they kept, if you were able to kill your master, then you were more powerful than them, then you deserve to continue the Sith legacy. If you were not powerful enough to kill your master, then you were not strong enough, and you did not deserve to be part of the Sith in the first place. So, I mean, in their mind, that Rule 2 worked out in a way in where they always thought they were only going to get better and better.
Yeah.
So that could cause a lot of trust too, because, he could be training this person who might, want to kill him one day.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we're getting close to our hour mark.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it. Does anybody have hauls for the week? I hate to cut the thing short.
Yeah.
But you do have a haul?
No, I don't.
No, I have none. Yeah, I was close. I came so close to getting, and I may go back and get them, but I saw the Fifth Brother in stores. They had them on sale at Macy's.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking about going back and getting them, but I try to be good and not, since I'd spent some other money elsewhere. But I do. I mean, it's like I want to get the Grand Inquisitor so bad. I wish I could come across him in stores. I could get
I do have a haul. Yeah, I forgot because last week we did that
The
toy
toy
life.
life, yeah.
So yeah, I didn't get a show for this show, but yeah, I have my Mara Jade figure.
Oh, dude, that is the best.
Yeah, that's
I
the
love
best.
it.
Mara Jade.
I really want that
cool.
figure.
Yeah, it's really
That's
well.
Mara
I love
Jade.
the lightsaber. Like the lightsaber is probably one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucas
like the
hates that
hilt.
character.
Such an odd thing to have such a vitriol for.
I'm just playing.
Well,
All right,
Lucas also loves Jar Jar, Ashley.
I love Jar Jar. I love Jar Jar.
I tolerate it.
he has his little Jar Jar and stuffed animal that he sleeps with at night. It's like,
I
oh,
do.
Jar Jar, nobody loves you but me.
All right, so I did get a couple of things. All right,
Okay.
let me solo this. So I picked up.
Dude, that's
Oh,
what I
cool.
want.
Yeah,
I want him so bad.
Amazon. He's in
Yep.
stock. Amazon.
Nice.
Yep. Little Wicked.
I had him in hand. I was going to buy him at Target, and then I put him
So is
back.
that part of the archive collection?
No, this is the 40th Return of the Jedi
Oh, okay.
anniversary 40th. Yeah.
So, but that is like Black Series scale.
yeah, that's Black
Yeah.
Series. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just putting him on those card backs for
Yeah.
the 40th, but
Yeah.
that's the first Wicket we've seen. I think that's the first Black Series Wicket since probably the first Black Series, right? Or had they ever put Wicket out on Black Series before?
I don't think they've put Wicked out in Black Series.
So yeah, so that could be his first appearance. So yeah, I definitely want to get it.
Yeah, maybe. But then I got one other little cool thing. But we'll open just because I saw it.
Oh,
like,
look at him
Yeah, a little.
with a loaf cat.
Yeah,
what is that?
I don't know which one it is. I don't know if this is a blind box thing or not. But I just I saw it, and I think it was on sale. Let me turn it around.
Yeah, let's see if it's blind box. I
Yeah,
guess
so
we'll know
we're
if
gonna
it's.
see it shows like a bunch of different ones over here on the side, right? That you can grab that there's possible. So I'm assuming this is a blind box. So I'll open it up right here if I can. I'm gonna have to rip into this. It's got tape on it. Grab my Ninja Star and try to rip into this thing without ripping my fingers apart. Did I get it? Yes. All right, here we go. Open up, says me. And it comes in tissue paper. It's kind of heavy. Okay, this is a lot heavier than I thought. But yeah, it's the same thing that's on the box. Look at.
Oh yeah, man. That's awesome. That's the one I think I would want. I want him playing with a loft cat.
Yeah, and it's heavier than what you think. I mean, it's vinyl, but it's got some weight to it. It's not
Wow.
it might be heavier than a Funko Pop. So it's got a little weight to it. Yeah, he's cool. He'll go on my right here above my desk to help me and do whatever.
I think I might have to grab one of those if I see him in stores.
Yeah, there's one with a Dark Trooper, like he's looking at the Dark Trooper helmet. He's like holding it, like looking
God.
in it.
Man, I might want that one too. Jesus.
Yeah, there's one where he's messing with the like wires coming out of the Dark Trooper helmet. Then there's one where looks like he's biting on a piece of Beskar credits. And then one where he's holding the dark saber.
Oh wow, there's a dark saber one.
Yeah, so he's holding the dark saber right there.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, and then one where he's holding the little ball that he has. All right, so we're almost at the hour mark, so let's wrap this up. Any final thoughts about anything Star Wars?
I'm just ready for Ahsoka. I'm dying to see Ahsoka.
Well, you still have a few months. Ray, any final thoughts?
RIP to our seen but never seen friend Paz Vizsla, because we never saw his face.
True.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's true.
Sorry, Paz. Sorry, John.
But he went down like
Favreau.
a
Champ.
beast.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did. He
He
did.
didn't let no stormtroopers take him down. He had to take, big boys had to come into town for him to go.
Yep. Oh, and also rip to Peter Mayhew's wife, who died
Oh,
last week.
Angie passed away.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, rest in peace.
Yep. And with that said, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode. Hit subscribe. Smash that like button. Hit that subscribe. No, I'm
Slam
just
it.
playing.
ding
Smash
that
it.
bell so you'll
Ding
be
it.
notified.
Yeah, subscribe,
Slap it.
please. Please help. Like it. Like it. We love
Whisper
that.
to it. Kiss it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. May the force be with you.
Later days.
Later.